I've been making music for a living for about 10 years, and I provide for my family and pay all my bills with being just a creative, whether that's shooting music videos, writing and recording and mixing songs for people, or touring as a lighting designer or a mixing engineer. So I interact with a lot of different facets of the music industry on a weekly basis. And I've worked with a lot of people over the last 10 years that I've grown with and gotten better with, and people that I've outgrown and people that haven't grown at all. So I just want to pass along a few reminders to you and to myself as a music creative to help us continue to grow and not get stagnant. The older I get, the more important I think it is to not listen to people like me. Don't take other people's advice, especially on the internet. Never listen to someone who says, always do this, or never do this, or you have to do this to make good music. I think it's almost a joke / comical at this point to see people on TikTok being like, here's the ultimate EQ hack to sound like a pro, or these are the compression settings that the music industry is hiding from you. And you see all these clickbaity hooks for videos, and none of them actually carry any merit. Tips only often work in a vacuum. They only work on the demo material. There are some tried and true tips and tried and true practices that you have to know, but in general, those aren't being seen by the masses online because they don't have a clickbaity hook. Work with as many people as you possibly can. You can learn so much from other people as an engineer, watching other people solve problems in the studio. You learn so much as a songwriter being exposed to different workflows and ideas. And you get real-time feedback on your song. Regular confidence boosts can go a long way from a peer that you respect. Also, having someone that you're close with, that you're sharing tips and ideas with, someone that you're kind of growing together with, is super valuable. Having community, people around you that are gonna help you get better, but also surrounding yourself by people who are way out of my league that I can watch and learn and soak in as much as I can. Gear isn't near as important as you might think. Gear matters to achieve specific needs, but isn't the main factor in the quality of the outcome. That all comes down to skill, taste, and good decision making. Knowing a tool is way more important than having a better tool that you're not familiar with. For example, I've spent thousands and thousands of hours in Logic Pro over the last 10 to 15 years and written and mixed and engineered hundreds of songs. Now, I've spent time in other DAWs over the years, but Logic has been my main DAW. And with the more relationships I build in the industry, Pro Tools kind of keeps coming up and is one of those things that I know that I'm gonna have to learn the ins and outs of Pro Tools at some point. So last week I bought a license of Pro Tools and I was determined to figure it out. And although I'm a professional audio engineer and producer and mixing engineer, I really struggled to find what I needed. I've been spending a ton of time on Google and ChatGPT the last week asking questions on where tools are and what key commands are what. I know I could probably get it done, but I would feel really uncomfortable walking into a session tomorrow and using Pro Tools strictly. And I know there's a big argument on what is better and worse, but to some, Pro Tools is a better product, right? Just because it's might be better on paper or has more features or whatever doesn't mean that I'm actually better by using it. Having a tool that you know is way more valuable than having a better tool that you don't understand. That's what I'm trying to get at. So use the gear you have, get to know the ins and outs of it, and when you feel like you're coming up on a new phase of your career and you see the new software on the horizon or new skills that you need to learn, just put in the time, make it happen. The act of producing a song is the most important step in getting a quality end product. A well thought out, well played and performed, well recorded part makes mixing easy. You're just enhancing something that's already working in the mixing stage because you can't fix a weak performance in the mix. Garbage in, garbage out. They're literally mowing the lawn right outside my window. This is very inconvenient. I think it's super important, especially in the beginning or middle of your music journey, and I'm including myself in that, to not just get stuck in one genre. You're gonna grow your skills so much faster. Every time I feel like I kind of hit another level is when I'm trying something that I've never done in a genre that I've never done. I'm always learning more about the tools that I use and figuring out different plugins and trying different ways to process things to emulate certain genres. You're just really gonna expand your skills by doing something you're not comfortable with. You also become more versatile overall as a musician, as a producer, as a songwriter, as an artist, and more attractive to hire. It sounds so self-explanatory, but if you're only a country writer, you're only gonna write country songs. If you're only a pop producer, you're only gonna produce pop stuff. But if you kind of do pop and rap and Christian and alternative and you can do a little bit of everything, it gives you more opportunity to get hired. And also one genre might really surprise you and you might end up being really good at it. If you're using the last tip of being outside your normal genre, using reference tracks can be super valuable to understand how other genres shape their songs and their arrangements and how they overcome different problems that you're running into. I think for long sessions, it can almost be kind of an ear calibration to make sure you're headed in the right direction. And for beginners specifically, it gives you an objective target of what is good. And I know that's super subjective, but if there's a song you really like, it can be valuable to match those elements, just so you're not trying to shoot in the dark. Like, what does their snare sound like? What's the reverb they're using on their vocal? And kind of pull these elements. Although you're not ripping off their song, you're just kind of understanding what the norms are in the industry and in the style that you're working in. You gotta do this because you love it. There's really no other logical reason to be in the music industry. Especially as a beginner, you could just walk into Walmart off the street and get a job and make more than you could in music. Now, that's definitely not true for the long term. And that's why you have to really love it, because it takes 10, 15, 20, 40 years to build a career. That doesn't mean it takes that long to build a living. I was making a livable wage within 5 years, and I started as a freshman in high school. It just takes time to build, and you have to be aware of that. If you're trying to start as a 28-year-old, it might take a few years to get started to provide financially. That doesn't mean you shouldn't. It just means that's something you should be aware of. And that much work and dedication should only be put into something that you're super passionate about and can't live without, honestly. Don't learn too much. Just do. I think being in writing sessions, being in recording sessions, actually producing a song is way more valuable than watching a YouTube video. But use online education to research what you don't understand and find channels for tips and tricks. Like this one. Also subscribe, that would be awesome. But you'll learn so much more by just getting out there and finishing projects. If you can't finish even a personal project and you always give up halfway, you're not really developing the skills you need to make that happen for a client or for your boss. Even if it's not as spectacular as you wish it would be or could be, just get it done. Release it or save it to a backup hard drive and remove it from your main one and send it to your friends. But see a project from beginning to end, like get it as good as you possibly can, like you would deliver it to a client before you move on to the next song. This is gonna build your confidence. It's gonna help you learn to let go of the perfectionism a little bit. I'm saying this to myself as well because I'm 6 revisions deep in a personal project of mine and I've been working on it for like 6 months. So I'm totally guilty of not finishing projects ASAP. But I think it's important to finish a project before you really pile on a bunch more. And the next opportunity that you get is only gonna happen because of a finished project that someone heard. And you can only pitch that idea if it's good enough to be heard. If you're a songwriter, finish the song start to finish and get a good demo of it. If you're a producer, produce that demo out all the way. And if you're an artist, book that studio time and get that song done and get it out and promote it like your career depends on it. Because if you're trying to do this for a living and a livelihood, it does depend on it. I just want to encourage you that achieving what you want to do and reaching your goals is definitely within the realm of possibility. It just takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication. And hopefully a few of those tips can be helpful to allow you to achieve those. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.